Search for Truth 2, Lesson 3, Chart 1. Adam relinquished his God-given dominion over earth to Satan and became a member of Satan's family. Man eagerly awaited the incarnation when deity would unite with humanity and restore man's dominion. Only a God-man could satisfy the claims of justice and bring the awful chasm between God and man. The second dispensation, conscience. Adam and Eve. The dispensation of conscience began when Adam was driven from the garden. Conscience, the faculty by which we know right from wrong, began to function when Adam and Eve ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It has since been a guiding force in mankind's moral actions. Cain and Abel. Tradition reports that Adam and Eve had many children, but only 3 sons are named in Scripture. The first was Cain, meaning gotten. At his birth, Eve exclaimed, "I have gotten a man from the Lord." She may have assumed him to be the promised Redeemer who would crush Satan once and for all. God showed Adam the proper method of offering sacrifices, and Adam related it to his sons. They surely observed their father offering blood sacrifices to God. By adulthood, both sons were well acquainted with the acceptable mode of sacrificial worship. Yet when they brought their offerings, something was amiss. Cain's offering was fruit from the ground, while Abel presented one of his flocks. Abel's sacrifice was consumed by fire from heaven as a sign of God's acceptance, but Cain's offering remained untouched. What made the difference? Abel's offering indicated love and obedience to the redemptive plan requiring a blood sacrifice. Hebrews 11:4 says, "By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts. And by it he being dead yet speaketh." Leviticus 17:11 says, "For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul." Cain's offering of fruit was from the earth, which was now cursed and quite unacceptable to God. Cain kills Abel. Because Cain refused to admit his error, bitterness spread through him like poison. With a crushing blow, Abel fell to the ground as murder severed the earth's tranquility with its ugly gloom. The completion of sin, death. God inquired, "Where is Abel thy brother?" A deliberate murderer was then covered with a deliberate lie. "I know not." Insulted, Cain asked, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Note the immediate effect of sin. How else could a man speak so impudently to God? Cain, a wanderer. God spoke again to Cain. "Now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood. Henceforth, when you till the ground, it shall yield you no return. A fugitive and a vagabond you will be." Perpetual exile from the region of Eden frightened Cain. Not only was he God's enemy, but the earth's as well. "My punishment is greater than I can bear," he lamented. Cain was forced to seek occupations of building cities and of mechanical invention. The Canaanite families were distinguished for their proficiency in the arts and pleasures of life. Seth. Satan may have presumed Abel to be man's redeemer. By destroying him, the enemy plotted to annihilate the righteous line. However, another child filled Abel's place. Through Seth's descendants, the Redeemer would come to earth. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. After the birth of Enos, Seth's son, men became God-conscious. As men began to call upon the name of the Lord and offer blood sacrifices, communication was restored between them and God. The Lord was pleased with those who came to him with the appropriate offering to cover sins. In fact, salvation has always included the important initial act of calling upon the name of the Lord. See Psalm 55:17, Joel 2:32, and Acts 2:21, and Acts 22:16. Enoch. Enoch, a descendant of Seth, was especially favored of God. Genesis 5:24 says, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him." The New Testament gives him another favorable report. Hebrews 11:5, "By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased God." Wickedness became so rampant that Enoch warned this generation how the Lord would judge the ungodly. Jude 14:15. "And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly of all their ungodly deeds." Because Enoch walked closely with the Lord and loved righteousness, he was translated or removed from the corrupt earth to be with God. World becomes very evil. God appraised the wickedness. Every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Genesis 6:5. Thus the declaration was made to destroy man from the face of the earth. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Enoch's son Methuselah lived longer than any other man in recorded history, 969 years. From the same bloodline and lineage, another godly man was named, Noah, the grandson of Methuselah. Looking over his vast creation, God found one man alone to be faithful. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. To this righteous man, God announced his plan to destroy the world.